the scale tool. To get to the scale tool, I'm going to be in my drawing workflow, go to my home tab, go to my manipulate group. It's going to be this icon here at the top in this first row. It's called scale. I'm going to left click to select it. In the scale dialog box, you have several different methods. You have active scale and 3 points. I'm going to leave it set to active scale for right now. You have an X scale and a Y scale. You can change these separately if you want, or you can keep them the same with this lock button. If I unlock it, I can put different scales in each of these boxes. Then you have copies. If you want to make copies of the item you're scaling, you can check that on. And then you have the ability to use a fence. We won't be using an example with the fence here, but you do have that option. And then you have this checkbox of About Element Center. I'm going to go ahead and set my scale to 0.5, hit enter. And since my lock was on, both my X and Y are 0.5. I'm going to set my number of copies to 1. And I'm going to leave the About Element Center checked off for right now. Now all I need to do is go out and identify the element I want to scale. So I'm going to select this block. Now you can see it wants an origin point. So based on where I pick for the origin point is the point it's going to scale about. I could just dynamically pick one out here if I wanted to, but I'm going to snap to this bottom left corner. Left click to accept it. I could keep going if I wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and right click to reset the tool, and I have my scaled block. Next, I'm going to come up here and change my method from active scale to 3 points. So now you'll notice you don't have an X and Y factor anymore. You just have number of copies. You do have this option for proportional, and you still have the About Element Center. I'm going to leave both of these unchecked for now, but I'm going to leave my copy set to 1. Now I'm going to go out and identify my element. I'm going to identify this block again. Left click to accept it. Now it wants an origin point. I'm going to pick the bottom left corner. And now it wants a reference point. Depending on where I pick for my reference point is how it's going to scale this block. For this example, I'm going to pick the bottom right hand corner, and now when I try to scale it, I can only scale it in the horizontal direction. If that's what I want, I can just left click to drop it off, and it scaled that block. If I select that block again, and for my origin point I pick the bottom left hand corner again, and then for the reference point, if I pick the upper left hand corner, when I start scaling it'll only scale in the vertical direction. I'm going to do a couple of undos. Now if I select my block again, then for the origin point I'll pick the lower left hand corner once again. This time I'm going to pick the upper right hand corner for my reference point. Now when I scale it, you'll notice I can scale it in the horizontal and the vertical direction. If that's what I want, I'll just left click to accept it, and I've scaled that block. If I come back up to my scale dialog box and I check on the proportional box, and I go out and do the same thing, I select my block, I select the lower left hand corner as the pivot point. Now it doesn't matter where I pick on this block, I'm just going to pick the lower right hand corner. Now when I scale it, you can see it's scaling it proportionally about those points. Once I get it to where I want, I'll just left click to accept it, and I have my scaled item. We do have one more option for this About Element Center. So I'm going to switch my method back from 3 points to active scale. I'm going to leave my scale set to 0.5. I'm going to uncheck my copies. I don't want to copy this next one. I'm going to leave about element center checked off for right now so you can see what it's going to do. But maybe I want to scale up all these trees or bushes over here. So I'm just going to go up with my element selection tool, select it. I'm going to left click and drag a box around these elements. So you can see I have 6 elements selected down here. So now whatever I do with these elements, it's going to do it to all 6 of them. So I'm going to come back up to my manipulate tools, pick that scale tool again. When I drag my mouse back out to my screen, it's trying to scale these items at 0.5, but it's moving the origin points of each of these items and scaling that down as well. That's probably not what I want. I probably want to keep these trees in the same location they were. So if I check on this about element center up here and come back out to my screen, you can see they're still tied to the same origin point they were at. So it's just scaling them about the center of that element. If that's what I want, I'll just left click to accept it one time. And it scaled those items down. So now I'm finished. I'll right click to reset the tool. And I have my scaled trees, but they're still in the same location that they were in originally. So that's a few different ways to use the scale tool.